As a finance professional looking to work more effectively with AI, finding the right tool for your specific position and use case is incredibly challenging. There are a lot of tools in the market, each with their own speciality. So what I'm going to do is not try and give you a generic tool list and let you figure out which one works best for you. What I want to try and do is split these tools into 4 financial categories. We have AI modeling and financial reasoning, spreadsheet and data execution with AI, FP&A and strategic planning systems, and automation and executive reporting infrastructure. And for each of these categories, I want to give you the top 3 tools with full detail. Don't recommend mediocre tools. I've selected these tools based on reasoning quality and numeric accuracy, scenario flexibility and sensitivity testing, auditability and explainability, and data and document handling, as well as integration and governance. Now, here are the best AI tools for finance professionals right now. Category 1, AI modeling and financial reasoning. Okay, the first tool is ChatGPT. Now, in real world finance work, most of the time is spent on the thinking process. This includes organizing scenario logic, testing assumptions under stress, and creating explanations for higher management. Now, usually teams do all of this work manually, which can lead to inconsistent results depending on who is doing the work. ChatGPT helps by providing a structured starting point for each task, making the process more reliable. It also communicates in a conversational way, so you can make improvements and adjustments in real time instead of starting over from scratch each time. But this is why ChatGPT is such a helpful tool. When you're preparing for a board review and want to explore a downside scenario, you can upload your base forecast assumptions. Then you can ask what might happen if revenue drops by 15%, or customer acquisition goes up by 10%, or payment terms are extended by 20 days. ChatGPT will then give you an estimate of the impact on revenue, analyze how margins might be affected, and can assess cash flow over time, and then explain it in simple terms of what the risks are. So this is exactly the kind of information that you would see on screen. Now, before relying on any output, you need to know the limits. ChatGPT is not a calculation engine, so numerical outputs need to be double-checked in Excel before anything goes to the board. It has no built-in audit trail, and for sensitive financial data, you'll need an enterprise plan, not an individual or a free account. It is strongest in the thinking and structuring phase, not final spreadsheet execution. When used correctly, it is the most effective tool in this category for building and stress testing financial logic. If you're interested, individual plans run at around $20 a month, and enterprise pricing is custom and not publicly detailed. Moving on to the second tool, Google Gemini. Now, in real life, board commentaries and variance analyses often require pulling information from several different sources at once. Finance teams do this on their own, but the quality of their work really depends on how well they can keep all that information in mind. Now, Gemini is designed to make this a lot easier since it works within Google's ecosystem. There's no hassle of transferring files or data. But that's why Gemini is great for gathering information from multiple documents and helping with reasoning based on that data. Now, when you're preparing a report for the board, you can simply copy important sections. You can ask Gemini to summarize changes from the plan, and you can ask it to explain operational shifts. It then creates a clear summary comparing actual results to the plan. You can highlight what's driving operational changes, and helps you craft a straightforward explanation for the board. So this is the kind of output you'll see here. Before relying on any output, double check the numbers because Gemini can hallucinate figures. So critical calculations always need a deterministic check. Native audit controls are also limited, and governance depends on your Google Cloud configuration. You can access it for free via consumer tier Bard, but it comes with limited usage. For sensitive data, enterprise controls are required. You can access it via Google Cloud contracts with custom pricing. Our third and final tool in this category is Perplexity AI. Now, assumption validation is a step most teams either skip or they do manually across multiple sources. That process is slow, it's inconsistent, and it's undocumented. Now, when a reviewer asks where a benchmark comes from, there is no clear answer. Perplexity solves this by returning sourced, traceable answers quickly so that you can validate external assumptions before committing numbers to a model. This is precisely why Perplexity is an efficient tool in this category for fast, sourced context. If you are finalizing forecast assumptions and need external benchmarks, you can ask for the average gross margin range for mid-market SaaS companies growing 20 to 30% annually, along with the source for that range. It returns the benchmark range, context by company size, and citations from credible sources. That is what you would see on screen here. Before relying on any output, check all critical numbers against primary sources. Retrieval quality depends on source availability, and hallucinations are possible. So Perplexity is a starting point for research, not a final reference point. It is not a governed model production platform. A free customer tier is available with paid plans for higher throughput and enterprise contracts for handling private data. Category 1 verdict. After reviewing the tools, I'd pick ChatGPT for its strength in financial reasoning and scenario discussions. Gemini suits Google Cloud teams needing to document synthesis and governance, and Perplexity is great for quick, budget-friendly assumption checks. Next, let's move on. Category 2, spreadsheet and data execution with AI. Okay, so the first tool is Microsoft Excel Copilot. In everyday finance work, GL exports can be messy. Formulas need to be built and made repeatable, and monthly reconciliations have to be done the same way each time. Teams often do this manually, which can lead to inconsistencies and lack of automation. So Excel Copilot is an integrated product that works directly into this workflow. So because it's built into the workbook, there's no fuss or delay when the AI works with the spreadsheet. Now this is exactly why Copilot is the best tool in this class for Excel work, whether it's ensuring formulas are accurate or tracking logic or automating tasks. If you've got a messy GL export and need to turn it into a clean, ready to use sheet, just ask Copilot to standardize date formats, spot currency mismatches, remove duplicates, and generate a Power Query transformation complete with a sample pivot. It then provides the Power Query steps, example formulas, and an Office script that you can run to keep things tidy with each new export. That's what you'd see happening right here on the screen. Before relying on any output, know the limits. Copilot works best with modern Office scripts and Power Query. Complex legacy VBA projects may not round trip perfectly, and formula outputs need validation for mission-critical models. For sensitive data, enterprise-level tenant configuration and DLP policies are required. Individual Microsoft 365 premium plans run around $19.99 a month, with Enterprise Copilot available as a per-seat add-on. Moving on to the second tool, which is Google Gemini Sheets. Usually, teams using Google Workspace face friction with external AI assistants that requires copy, pasting, and offers no automation. Gemini Sheets makes this easier by working directly inside the spreadsheet, generating formulas, automation, and data transformations without external handoffs. This is exactly why Gemini Sheets is the best choice for teams that work mainly with sheets. If you get a revenue file where sales managers have entered inconsistent product names, you can ask Gemini to automatically organize them into 3 clear categories: basic, pro, and enterprise. It then creates a neat helper column and shows the formula logic behind it. The tool generates a simple formula to standardize the names, adds a clean helper column, summarizes revenue by category with a pivot table, and provides a brief explanation of the classification process. So this is what you would see on your screen. Keep in mind that Excel's compatibility with other tools is somewhat limited. Very large general ledger data sets tend to work better in BigQuery or Excel itself. The version history for your files relies on Google Drive's activity log rather than a formal version control system. Now, if you're handling sensitive financial information, it's important to use workspace admin controls and enterprise agreements. For advanced features, you'll need a paid Google Workspace plan or a Google Cloud contract that offers custom options. Okay, so the third and final tool is the Claude Excel add-in. Now, we all know that model refactoring is one of the most time-consuming tasks a finance team handle. You're working inside someone else's logic, trying to understand dependencies without breaking outputs, cell by cell and formula by formula. Now, the Claude Excel add-in is specifically designed for this kind of structural cleanup, and it performs it directly inside the workbook. But this is why Claude is the best tool for ensuring formulas are correct, traceable, and easily adjustable. For example, if you have a budgeting model with revenue growth hard-coded across 24 monthly columns, you can ask Claude to replace those fixed values with a single driver cell. Claude will then create the driver cell, generate the appropriate formula to link it, and produce a simple formula to copy across all months. It also provides a clear explanation of how the dependencies work. Before relying on any output, all formula outputs still require user validation before going into production. Complex VBA macros may need manual adjustments, and there's no built-in enterprise audit trail beyond standard Excel versioning. Do not use it to autocorrect large production models without a review step. Now, it requires a Claude subscription at around $20 a month for the individual plan, with enterprise plans available for teams that need enhanced data governance. Category 2, verdict. After testing all three tools, I think Microsoft Excel Copilot is the best overall, especially if Excel is your main system. Gemini Sheets works well for teams using Google Workspace, and the Claude Excel add-in is the simplest and most affordable option for cleaning up models and clarifying formulas without needing automation setup. Now, let's move on to category 3. In category 3, I'll introduce you to the top 2 tools for FP&A and strategic planning. The first tool I recommend for FP&A and strategic planning is ChatGPT. In finance, the planning phase is where most confusion happens. Questions like which drivers to use for the forecast or how KPIs connect to the financial lines often vary from cycle to cycle because there's no set process. So this causes inconsistency and extra work. ChatGPT helps here by providing a clear starting point before you input data into your planning system. This is exactly why ChatGPT is such a powerful tool for organizing forecast logic, exploring different scenarios quickly. Now, for example, if you're redesigning your rolling forecast for a SaaS company, you can ask ChatGPT to create a 12-month forecast structure that includes key drivers like ARR, churn, expansion, customer acquisition costs, things like that. It will produce a driver tree, show how KPIs connect to revenues and cash flow. It will outline the forecasting sequence and suggest how to present the results to leadership. Now, this is similar to what you see on your screen. However, it's important to remember that ChatGPT isn't a complete FP&A system. It doesn't have features like multi-entity consolidation, workflow approvals, ERP integrations, or statistical testing. Any outputs need to be imported into your planning platform for actual use. Plans typically cost around $20 a month for individual access, with enterprise options available for added governance. The second tool I want to talk about is Claude. Now, in workplaces, the documentation part of FP&A often becomes messy. Forecast methods are rarely written in a way that can easily pass an audit or be handed off during leadership changes. KPI definitions can be inconsistent across teams. Claude is especially good at helping with the structured documentation and planning design phase, something that most tools don't focus on directly. That's exactly why Claude is such a strong choice for structured planning, documentation, and ready-to-go methodology explanations. For example, if you're reworking your budgeting approach for a company with multiple products, you can ask Claude to help design a forecasting structure. Now, it links product volume, pricing, and churn to total revenue and EBITDA. It creates a driver tree. It suggests KPI definitions. It provides roll-up logic for different entities and offers a clear documentation outline ready for leadership approval. This is what you'd see on screen. Just to be clear, Claude isn't meant to be a complete FP&A platform for production work. It doesn't have statistical modeling, multi-entity consolidation, workflow approval features, or ERP connections. Its accuracy depends on how you implement it in other systems. Different subscription plans are available, including team and enterprise options with custom pricing for sensitive data workflows. The verdict. After reviewing both tools, I see they're more for speeding up planning than serving as full FP&A systems. They work best on controlled platforms. ChatGPT is great for flexible scenarios and quick modeling, while Claude excels at clear documentation and planning reports for review. Neither can replace a complete enterprise FP&A system. Now let's move on to the final category. Category 4, automation and executive reporting infrastructure. The first tool I want to introduce is Zoho Analytics with Ask Zia. Now, in finance, month-end reporting is often one of the most time-consuming parts of the process. Data comes in, you manually format it, you rebuild charts, and then you repeat the same steps each and every month. Zoho Analytics helps eliminate this repetitive work by connecting directly to your data sources, automatically creating dashboards and scheduling reports to be sent without manual effort. This is exactly why Zoho Analytics stands out for automating dashboards and providing easy to understand reports for leaders. When preparing your monthly board pack, you can connect your general ledger and revenue data, then ask Zia to show things like revenue versus budget, EBITDA trend, and the top 5 reasons for variance month over month. It will generate a clear dashboard with charts, a variance breakdown table, the ability to drill down to transaction details, and a short summary. That's what you would see on screen. Before sharing any dashboard, it's important to double check the numbers match your general ledger totals. Keep in mind that styling options might be more limited than in fully customized business intelligence tools, and complex workflows might need extra Zoho tools. Also, enterprise security features like single sign-on, or SSO, require a higher subscription plan. There's a free version with limited data, and paid plans start at affordable levels for small teams. For larger organizations, enterprise plans offer higher data limits, SSO, and advanced security features. Let me introduce you to the second tool, Gemini in Google Workspace. Now, in finance, team reports are often made using sheets and docs, but without any AI help. Now, this process can be slow and it can be inconsistent. Gemini works right inside these apps, so you can generate KPI summaries, suggested charts, and commentary suitable for meetings without switching tools. This makes Gemini a top choice for quick and simple executive reports. For example, when preparing your monthly dashboard, just open your financial data in Google Sheets, ask Gemini to create a summary comparing revenue to the budget, show trends in EBITDA margins, cash balances, and key variance drivers. It will produce organized KPI tables, suggested charts, and a narrative explaining the month-over-month changes, all right inside Sheets. No need for external dashboards. Keep in mind, you'll want to review the narrative and data to ensure everything matches your records before sharing. Gemini needs clean, well-structured data to work best, and some manual formatting might be needed. It is not a tool for consolidating multi-entity reports, so make sure the figures link back to your general ledger before sharing with leadership. Advanced features are included in certain Gemini-enabled Google Workspace plans at no extra licensing cost. Verdict. After comparing the two tools, I see Zoho Analytics with Ask Zia as a great choice for those who need detailed reports, for executives. Gemini in Google Workspace is also a good option for teams wanting a simple, budget-friendly solution. It's ideal for those already using Google tools and seeking quick, light reporting without a separate platform. And that's it. You now know how to use all the top tools for professional financial analysis that won't let you or your team down. If you want all the prompts I used, you can join my free community using the link in the description below. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.